All right, it is time to get banned from TV, banned from DVD, banned from iTunes, banned from Google Play, banned from Disney Plus. Welcome to the St Canard Files, a Darkwing Duck podcast. I'm your host, Will Santana, and
I'm Mike Russo, and I just came back from the library of forbidden spells.
Yo, I actually love that play on joke, throughout the whole episode.
That's a very funny running gag.
Oh yeah, man, definitely, man. So Mike, man, we just did our interview with Jim and John, the two of the three of the trio, and this is an episode that's highly talked about that we're gonna record and review today.
There's a reason.
All right, but before we get into that, we had something that came out announced, which is really, I'm kind of excited for, man. I don't know about you.
Yeah, this is actually going to be pretty cool. Of course, like many things we do, by the time you guys listen to this, it'll have like already come out for sale. I don't know if it'll be out, but yeah, just a few days ago, as of this recording, the company QMX, who are going to be putting out a Darkwing Duck Q-Figure, really cool figure of Darkwing on top of like a gargoyle that hasn't come out yet because it was delayed. But they announced a summer exclusive. Who are they doing?
Negaduck.
Yeah, it looks really cool.
Yeah, it's limited to 2,000.
Yeah, and it was coming out the 23rd. Obviously, that date is passed, but hopefully we were able to get some.
Yeah, that's the date for the pre-order, right? I
think so. I don't think that's
what
it's available
I saw
yet.
Yeah, I think they said it won't be out until September, I think.
Yeah, but the date to order is the 23rd of July, which again was the distant past for you guys.
Do you think it would sell out on the pre-orders?
It isn't a Funko, so maybe.
So you think it has a better chance of selling out over Funko?
No, I think Funko stuff people are crazier for. I don't really know much about the Q figures. I don't know how they sell.
I don't either.
I know they've done some Animaniacs ones, which are really cool, but I don't know about their exclusives.
Okay.
But 2,000's a pretty big number for a niche thing like Darkwing Duck. I mean, granted, those pins sold out, but that's Disney pins.
Yeah, that is true. See, that's the thing. I don't know about the Q figure, so I don't know how the scalpers and flippers are going to turn out on this,
Yeah, I don't know if they have that collectible fan base that Funko stuff's got and the Disney pins have. But regardless, I like this more than the Darkwing.
Okay, I do too. I definitely do like it more than Darkwing. Because with the Pez's, I remember when the first wave of the Pez's, it sold out like within 3 minutes.
Right.
But the second wave, they were up for about a month for only 1,500 Pez's. It was up there for a while. Yeah, so I really have no idea how this is. I have no clue. I am nervous, but I will pre-order mine though. I definitely will pre-order mine and play it safe.
Yeah, it's not smart to wait.
All right, so Mike, man, you ready?
It took us a long time, but we're finally here.
Okay, but you know what? Let's slow it down a little bit. What did you think of the interview we had with Jim and John?
It's really great to talk to Jim, and it was nice to finally get to talk to John, too. It was a shame that Rob couldn't be on, but there were circumstances, so I'm not upset. But I love talking to them. They have a lot of great info about their time at Disney Animation. I mean, we could have talked to them for twice as long as we did. They have a lot to say, but it was a really great interview. Again, yeah. I really enjoy talking to them.
Yeah, man, I had a lot of fun, man. It was just kind of cool. Like, we never got I've never seen anybody interview them about hot spells, so it was kind of cool to get some insights about it,
Yeah, absolutely.
Besides the usual of what's on IMDb and Wikipedia and stuff like that, to get a little new information.
It's nice to get, like, details about the minutia of how the episodes are written, like little bits and pieces. We learned, like, how Archie was created when we did Ghoul of My Dreams. We learned little tidbits like that, which I don't think anybody really knew.
And it's also funny. I know it was brought up a few times during the recording of the interview, but if they only knew before and after the interview that the bonkers conversation with them.
Oh God, these guys were scarred working on Bonkers. I think everybody who worked on Bonkers was scarred by it. I mean, I know you don't like Bonkers, but I would love to have a full conversation with these guys about that show because the stories they could tell.
Yeah, maybe
Really.
one day you can set that up, man, and it'll be like a bonus episode for her. Because I know we got Bonkers fans who listen to us, so it ain't for me. I'll sit that
Even
one
if
out.
you hate the show, the story of the production is really fascinating for what a complete train wreck it was. I mean, we discussed a few times during that interview, I think it might have been after the interview, how Darkwing Duck ran really smoothly and everybody loved working on it. But Bonkers? Nobody enjoyed working on that train wreck. And it's just fascinating to hear that.
Yeah. Now, Mike, when was the first time you seen Hot Spells?
When it first aired.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, when did you know it was banned, or when did you realize it was banned?
It was years. Like the thing was when the ABC season 2 episodes finally hit the Disney afternoon, I wasn't watching it religiously, so I didn't notice it wasn't there. I don't think it was until I was on the internet a lot more on like message boards. Remember those?
Yeah.
When people were finally saying, "Hey, the band episode," and that's when I was like, "Really?" I had no idea.
I didn't see it when it aired, but I had it recorded when it aired from one of my Ivan tapes.
Of course you did.
Yeah, I had it recorded, so I probably saw it maybe 2 months after it aired. Because he would always wait until like a VHS tape filled up and then he would ship it to me.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so so I think I saw it like 2 months later. I saw the episode, maybe watched it 2 or 3 times from that VHS tape. Then we left Puerto Rico a couple years later, and then we moved to Kansas. After that, we were in Kansas for 2 years. I still didn't know it was banned. Probably never watched it again because I was starting to grow up a little more, so I kind of started not watching cartoons as much. But then, the power of the internet and just me being a fan of Darkwing, using Google searches, and I was like,
yeah,
I saw it was banned. I was like, I remember that episode, but now that I think about it, I've never seen it again,
Yeah, and once the 13 episodes aired, and then the following Saturday, Monsters R Us reran, I stopped watching Darkwing Duck on ABC because they were all repeats anyway. So I didn't even know that Hot Spells didn't rerun.
Okay, yeah, man.
And I think all available copies of this were from that first airing.
Yeah. Because I know mine has that. I remember you brought it up last time because Ivan would record the commercials for me as well. He just let it play through. And I remember that after these messages, we'll be right back was all over. Yeah.
I found a copy on Dailymotion that was it aired the station WGN in Chicago. And that had the After These Messages commercial bumper with the claymation dog and a quick glimpse of like Darkwing Duck is back, and it showed a little clip. And that was definitely ABC.
Okay. So, after we review the episode, we'll talk about do we feel if it should be banned and all that kind of stuff. I think we'll get into that. But all right, Mike, let's go ahead. Let's get this ball rolling on the banned episode Hot Spells. What's our production and air date order?
Okay, this one aired Saturday. They all did. October 31st, 1992. So this was a Halloween episode.
Yeah, and I remember John and Jim mentioned in the interview they were really excited that it got a Halloween release.
They wrote 2 episodes that aired on Halloween. This and Ghoul of My Dreams were Halloween episodes.
Yeah.
And it was 86 by production order. Deepest so far.
It's way back there.
Yeah, we're almost done. Almost done.
Yeah.
Story editor is Tad.
Tad, the man.
Which I guess makes sense because he personally wanted Jim, John, and Rob on this episode. He personally brought them back for this one episode because they hadn't been writing on the show for a while. It would have been a long time before Tad pulled them back in. And I think they were great for this episode. This is a strong one.
Oh yeah, it's a really good one, man. Definitely.
I think it has a lot of great things about it. I like that it's not set in St. Canard for a change.
Mm-hmm.
I think the story is great. A lot of the extra characters, the side characters, are fun. There's only one thing that bothers me about it, but I'll save that for the rating.
Okay.
And it was animated at Sun Woo, which I like because I would rather take Sun Woo than how bland Hanho is getting.
Okay.
That's me.
Did anything pop for you on the animation?
There is one scene where the staging is really, really great.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some fun clips of animation, especially Gosalyn in the potions class has some funny stuff in it.
Yeah.
Nothing amazing, but it's still good. I've grown to really enjoy Sun Woo. Okay. I really have over the years. How about you?
Yeah, I like the animation as well. There was, like you said, the potions scene when they were in the chemistry lab, and then I also like the entrance of the forbidden library.
Right.
The entrance, because with the door and the lighting and then the shadow of showing how dark the room is also on one spot.
Yeah, I'll get to that. That's what I'm getting to.
Okay.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I really like that, but there's one part of that I don't like. So, but you know,
yeah. Okay, I'm curious to hear what you're talking about.
No. I want to save it for the end.
Oh no, I know.
Okay, all right. So, are we ready to get into the plot?
Well, I guess so. Let's get started with this banned episode here.
All right, banned from TV, banned from existence,
banned from everything. Unlike the banned DuckTales and Tailspin episodes, those are at least on DVD. Mm-hmm. This one, yeah, you're not legally seeing this one.
All right, so we got Gosalyn. She's excited to be at, I think it was called Eldridge Academy.
Eldridge Academy of Enchantment.
Okay, yeah. So she's excited. She's playing around in the statue. She's just all excited. We got Morgana's father, Malaculo, and Aunt Nasty. They show up in brooms. They're flying around. And
right. And just in case people didn't watch our Monsters R Us episode, Malaculo is Jack Angel, Liquidator himself. And we're kind of conflicted on who Aunt Nasty was. I know I said Katsusi on Monsters R Us, but Susan Silo is in the credits for this one. Mm-hmm. So I think maybe she's Aunt Nasty.
We don't know.
We don't know.
There's only two possibilities that Susan Silo could be. It's either Aunt Nasty or I forgot to
later.
Yeah.
Well, I guess what we have to do is talk to her again.
Yeah.
And ask her. Maybe she would know.
Yeah. Or maybe John and Jim would know too.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
It might be easier to get in touch with them at the moment, I would assume, since Susan Silo's recording again.
Yeah.
Okay,
go ahead. Yeah,
no,
I was just going to say, they fly in with their brooms, and they're there to support Morgana because she has a big presentation at the academy.
Yeah, she wrote a groundbreaking paper, Malaculo says. It's called Warts and Boils, Medieval Hexes Redefined for a New Age. That sounds fancy. So she's there to give a big presentation. It's a big day for her.
But then, Malaculo and DW, they go right back at it again, Mike.
Man, Darkwing is so pissy in this episode. Like, he starts off in such a foul move. No pun intended, but he's in a foul mood. And every time Malaculo zaps him, Darkwing really deserves it.
Yeah. They just don't like each other, man. And
yeah.
It's just funny
but it's like Darkwing doesn't even want to be there.
Yeah. And then Morgana steps in, she's trying to get them to get along,
Of course.
Yeah.
So we get one other macabre family member. They really cut it down. A lot of the ones from Monsters R Us are gone. It's just Malaculo, Aunt Nasty, and Globby.
Yeah, Globby's back.
Pops up in a window and Gosalyn falls right into Aunt Nasty's stew pot.
Yeah, and it was funny because Darkwing was just bragging about how a proud father he is, and here's Gosalyn, horsing around.
Yeah, this is definitely a Gosalyn horses around episode.
Oh yeah, and then Globby, he's apologizing to Goz. He scared her. That's why she fell off the window.
Yeah, Globby, of course, is Jim. No mistaking that voice.
Yeah, but they gotta go because Morgana's running late.
Yep. She has an appointment with the dean. His name is Dean Spector McHex.
And who's he voiced by?
All right. I think this is the very last episode where we're going to hear the voice of your favorite, Michael Bell.
No.
And you could totally tell it's him too.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's not his Quacker Jack voice at all, but you could tell it's him.
It sounds a bit like his Quacker Jack with the German accent, but really old. You could tell right away though it's Bell.
Yeah, definitely.
Right. I like the Dean. He's really decrepit, really old. In fact, when they get into his office, he's just a pile of dust.
Yep, he's so dusty. Like, and Darkwing makes a joke about how dusty that office is.
What does he say? There's a fine line between dust and being decrepit, or something like that. So yeah, he's really impressed by Morgana's business accomplishments. So he joins them.
Yeah, and then Darkwing and the father brag how she's their ghoul.
Yeah, exactly.
They're getting into it again.
So we meet our villain really early on. Not really meet. We've seen this guy before, which is interesting because obviously our villain is Beelzebub. This time, this is his name. His name is Beelzebub. He was in Dead Duck, where that episode it was a dream. So it's kind of debatable whether he actually existed.
Yeah.
But here, it's more like that episode's more like canon now, where he knows who Darkwing Duck is. He's real. He's down in hell, torturing people, doing his devil thing. And he's bored, basically. He wants something to do with himself. He doesn't know what to do. So he decides to check topside with his television to see who he can bedevil, basically.
Yep.
There's a politician, but he thinks that's too easy. I know a few politicians that this guy could go after. But and then he sees Darkwing.
Yeah, he sees Darkwing's at the academy. So. And
he brought the kid.
Oh yeah, that excites him too. Yeah, seeing the kid.
Because he wants to get Darkwing Duck down there. That's his plan. He wants Darkwing's soul. And as in Dead Duck, Beelzebub is voiced by Marty Ingalls, actor-comedian Marty Ingalls. I really love I love listening to Beelzebub talk. He's a really fun character.
Yeah.
Like, he has a lot of great dialogue. I think Jim and John said that they wrote this stuff for Ingalls to say, but Ingalls put his own spin on it, which you can definitely tell.
Yeah. Yeah. They made him like a hip Lucifer,
A little bit. He has kind of like a wise guy streak to him. He has this great line towards the end where he says to Darkwing, "You think I like you running around doing my job for me?" And then he goes, "As if my overhead isn't high enough." And it's like these great little lines he has. So yeah, he's gonna be up to something, but we'll check back on Beelzebub in a little bit.
Yeah, we got Darkwing, Goz, and Morgana, and they find the library of forbidden spells.
Okay, so this great running gag. Every time somebody says library of forbidden spells, we have this creepy musical sting that the characters acknowledge.
Yep.
And the first time Morgana says it, the music goes off. And then Darkwing's like, is it going to do that every time we say library of forbidden souls? And so they can't go in there. The library is forbidden. I said souls, I meant spells. Library is forbidden. They can't go in there because what does she say? She says it's not, you can't go in there because it's like it's too high a price to put on it. It's your soul, basically. And Darkwing's still all pissy about it. And so they go to potions class.
Yeah, this is where Goz finds out science is needed for magic, for it to work. She doesn't want to do. Yeah, she doesn't want to do the math part.
She thinks it's going to be easy. And and Malocula sees potential in Gosalyn, and it's like, maybe I can arrange for Gosalyn to sit in on a lesson. Why not? Yeah. And Darkwing isn't really feeling it, but Gosalyn gets angry, and Darkwing goes, "I can't say no to my little girl." Yeah, not if I want to wake up in the morning. It's such a great line.
Yeah, because she's expressing how she really wants to go to the academy. She's really excited about it.
Oh, she would love to do magic, yeah.
Yeah, but while in the class, though, she refuses to use a calculator, Mike, man.
Yeah, she realizes that there's math involved with doing these magic. Yeah, it's not as simple as she thought.
Yeah, and then she cheats it she cheats her calculations and things don't turn out well for her.
Yeah, she wings it and ends up with chocolate pudding.
Yeah, and the whole class, they laugh at her. You know, she's embarrassed.
Yeah, Aunt Nasty's teaching the class, and she tells her, you'd be better off in home ec.
Yeah, so she leaves the classroom, and then there's a skeleton running around.
Yeah, she bumps into the skeleton, knocks its head off, and chases its skull around the corner.
Yeah, and then that's where she meets who?
Beelzebub, going by the alias of Beelzy, the janitor.
Yep.
And
he takes her into the library, and he tells her everything that, because she questions him about the forbidden spells, the library of forbidden spells, and he tells her that everything was moved down to the basement.
Right. He said, they got rid of those books years ago. They moved them all down to the basement. And she's like, really? And he's like, yeah, who would you want to believe? Everybody else or the janitor?
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, you, I guess. This is a scene I like.
Mm-hmm.
They walk away down the hall. We see them walk down the hall and they disappear into blackness. But their conversation continues for a whole 10 seconds in the dark.
Yeah, we don't see them.
And they come back towards the camera, still having their conversation, holding a spell book.
Mm-hmm.
That's some really cool staging. I like that.
Okay.
I wish this episode was on Disney Plus so we can see like a better copy of it, you know?
Yeah.
Would be cool to see all these cool backgrounds. I bet it's got.
Well, I offered you a better copy, but you never downloaded it. So don't
when
get
I
mad
finally
about that.
went to do that, the file you sent me had expired.
Yeah, I kept warning you.
But I mean, whatever copy you've got, I'm sure what would have ended up on Disney Plus would have been even better than that. I mean, reference quality. So what happens next, Will?
Basically he manipulates her. He shows her that magic is easy and the math is useless. He starts showing her like you don't need all the calculations and math, and he starts showing her just to wiggle her fingers and say presto.
Yep, and she creates a familiar.
Yep.
A greenish blue creature that she names Bubba. Yep. It kind of looks like Bubba from DuckTales, just a little bit.
A little bit, just a little bit, yeah.
A little bit, and it burps in her face.
Yeah,
so
and then we go back to Morgana,
plan,
right?
Yeah, and Beelzebub's plan is taking off.
Yeah, it's definitely taking off. The bait's there.
Yep, that's what he says too.
Yeah, so then we get the Morgana, and she's a little nervous about the presentation, and then
Darkwing's not helping.
Yeah, he's not helping at all. Wasn't he doing something with some red frogs or something? Yeah,
but then he says to her, "What's the big deal?"
Yeah.
And she zaps him again. He just keeps getting zapped. He needs to keep his mouth shut.
Yeah, and then when we cut back to Gosalyn, and she turns her spell book into like a pocketbook edition.
Yes, and she's all dressed up like a wizard as well. And Bub is with her too. He's following her around.
Yeah, but then she decides to create a new creature.
She creates what's called a Galarian Taranga. Can you describe this thing?
Man, that thing was hideous. It was some
giant lips. It sees Darkwing, and did you get Roger Rabbit vibes? Remember the scene where Eddie Valiant's in Toontown, and the hideous woman's chasing after him, screaming, "A man!"
Yeah, she says almost the same thing.
Exactly what happens, and I wish I could have asked Jim or John last week if this was a Roger Rabbit reference in any way, and I should have asked because it reminds me exactly of that scene.
I don't think that was Susan Silo though, Mike. Did you?
I don't think they would have gotten Susan for just this one line. So she's probably Aunt Nasty.
Okay.
We'll find out. I definitely want to find out.
Yeah. And then Morgana, she starts questioning Gosalyn about the calculations. She was like, "How did you create that? How did you learn that so fast?"
She doesn't have time to think about it because Darkwing and the Taranga ruin her presentation.
Yeah. And then the dean questions Gosalyn too, and Gosalyn lies to him as well.
And he believes her.
Yeah, he definitely believes her. But because she lied, now she has to do a presentation.
And not only that, McHex now wants to cut Morgana's presentation, and he also accuses her of having a shoddy work because it's been smashed.
Yeah, but Morgana has her suspicions of Gosalyn though. She got her suspicions already. The radar's on.
Magic shouldn't be that easy. So Morgana actually suspects something.
Yeah, and then we cut to Beelzebub, but we get a cameo, Mike, a cool one.
Yeah, the brooms from Fantasia show up, and he's chewing them out for doing a terrible job.
It's a quick cameo, but it's fun if you love Mickey and the Sorcerer Apprentice.
Yeah, I do love that sequence.
Yeah, so if you love that sequence, it's a quick cameo, but it's kind of cool to see it, you know?
Yeah, so Gosalyn comes to him for advice, because she doesn't know what to do now. She got roped into something she doesn't want to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he writes in the book for her presentation. So he obviously some manipulation. There's some bamboozle here going on.
Oh yeah, this is his ultimate plan. He's ready to enact this. A great ending to the Library of Forbidden Spells running gag. She starts to say it. She hears the music start, and then she stops saying it, hoping she can catch the music, but it keeps going. Yeah, like she's aware of it. She goes, "The Library of Forbidden Spells." And the music keeps going. It's really funny.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is my favorite joke in the episode. This running gag with that music.
Yeah, and then we go back to Morgana, and
it didn't go well.
Yeah, she leaves the dean's. Was it his office, or you don't really know?
No, it was her presentation. I think she might have been in the dean's office, right, giving the presentation. But she says it didn't go well. Darkwing consoles her for like a half a second, but then leaves to go see Gosalyn's presentation.
Yeah, but she spots Gosalyn using the book.
Yeah, then she realizes definitely now that's a book from the library.
Yeah,
she knows, but before she can do a thing,
Beelzebub grabs her
and takes her away.
Yeah, so then we go to the presentation, and Gosalyn's on the stage, and Darkwing, he's all excited. That's my daughter. Yeah, you know.
And then Moleculo zaps him again, though.
Oh, yeah.
He gets zapped another time.
Mm-hmm. And, but Gosalyn's presentation doesn't start off well. She's nervous. She's stuttering. She's flustered.
Yep. And she starts her very first spell, and all she's able to do is summon the Gates of Fire.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Beelzebub is here.
Yep, she's conjured up the entryway to hell, basically.
Yep. And then all the monsters, they see Lucifer, Beelzebub, and they try to zap him.
Yeah, but he zaps them right back and captures them pretty much.
Yeah, and then we get a Darkwing entrance. Go for it, Mike.
Finally, Darkwing's doing something in this episode. Seriously, I'll get back to that. I am the water balloon that lands right on your head. So Darkwing shows up. He sprays the little demons with a fire extinguisher. He kicks one, and then Beelzebub shows him that he's got Morgana.
Yeah, she's tied up, man.
So Darkwing immediately, begs for her soul. He'll take her place. He'll go with him if he saves Morgana. And Beelzebub says, fine, lets Morgana go, and takes Darkwing with him.
Yep. So they leave. And then well, before they left, didn't Gosalyn seek Bubba on Beelzebub?
Yeah, Gosalyn inflates Bubba a little bit bigger, and she's like, "Get him, Bubba!" And then Beelzebub just deflates Bubba, and just Bubba flies away.
Yeah, and then they all they let Gosalyn know that Darkwing's in serious trouble because he went on his own free will.
But she was tricked.
Yeah,
which means Beelzebub's contract is invalid. She's innocent. She didn't mean it.
Yeah, she didn't mean it, but she knew what she was doing, though, a little bit.
Gosalyn, the easy road to learning. We've seen this before with her.
Yeah.
Never to this extent, but...
And then poor Darkwing, he's down there with Beelzebub, and Beelzebub says he's going to give him the eternal punishment, man. And
what is the eternal punishment?
It's Herb and Binky watching Pelican's Island.
Forever. They're like demon versions of Herb and Binky. They have devil horns, and they're all red. Yeah. But don't you love the drawing of Herb's face?
Oh yeah.
That's a big close up. Forever. It's a really, really great scene. I love it. That would be Darkwing's ironic punishment.
Yeah, and then we get the Macabres. They start creating the spell to bring back the Gates of Fire.
Right. Gosalyn says, let's get magical.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. One of the ingredients that makes the potion smell bad is monkey drool. And if you remember in My Valentine Ghoul, when Gosalyn made the love potion, the monkey drool made it smell bad.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't know if that was an accidental reference, but they brought it back for sure.
Yeah, definitely brought it back. Yeah, so they go down through the gates of fire, and they start their plan, and basically they take a picture of Beelzebub.
Yeah, they're reporters. They wearing trench coats and hats.
Mm-hmm. They take a picture of him. Oh, go ahead, Mike.
I like the voice Morgana's putting on, the very old-timey reporter voice.
Yep.
Like I think she's really funny here. I also love when they asked to bring in Darkwing. Darkwing's hanging from a fish scale. Basically, one of those fish scales when when you go fishing, you weigh your fish. He's hanging upside down from it.
Yeah, or like you catch a shark or something and you're trying to show off.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but when they take the photo, they blind Beelzebub.
And then they smack him with Darkwing. They basically take him and they throw him at Beelzebub. And they stick the Turanga at him.
Yep.
The Turanga chases Beelzebub away.
Yeah. So they escape, they get out. And Gosalyn starts apologizing to everyone, and
didn't mean to endanger your soul like that.
Yeah, but Darkwing's gonna punish her. She's not off the hook.
The ultimate punishment.
Yep, the comic books.
But come on, Dad, it was just your soul. It's a funny ending.
Yeah, definitely, man.
I gotta say this about Hot Spells. Watching it a few times for the podcast, being more familiar with it, I actually kind of love it.
I told you, man. I told you this was a good episode.
I didn't like it at first because at this point, when I was younger, I was in a rut with ABC season 2. I was getting close to burnout with it, pretty much, because I am getting burnt
already.
I did get burnt out with season 2, and it's hard for me to marathon season 2 because I do get burnt out. So this episode I kind of lumped in there, and I didn't see it much because it was banned. Obviously, that's why I didn't see it. So I wasn't familiar with it, and I kind of wrote it off as like, whatever, another season 2 episode from late in the run. But now that I've had to study it and watch it, I found a lot that I love about it.
All right.
It's one of, I wouldn't say the best because it can't compete to me with Steerminator and Frequency Fiends because those are my favorites, obviously.
Okay.
But I think this one is so different, even without the notoriety of being banned, even if it didn't have that. There's so many cool things about it. It's so different from everything else in this run that it's easy to enjoy it because they're not in St. Canard. Launchpad's not in it, so you don't have Launchpad as the third wheel just making these lame jokes the whole time. I love Launchpad, but I feel like he doesn't belong in the show anymore because they're barely using him right. He doesn't even get starring roles anymore, so he kind of feels like he's the third wheel. They get rid of him entirely here, and I think it's better because he's not there. Yeah. They cut down the macabres to just the characters who are the most entertaining. Moleculo, Globby, and Aunt Nasty. Those are my 3 favorites.
Okay.
I love Beelzebub. I think Marty Ingalls is great. And I love the subject matter, going after
Mike.
Soul.
Keep going.
and you have Sun Wu. I like Sun Wu. The only thing I don't like about it is that Darkwing is really sidelined. He doesn't have a lot to do. Aside from being pissy in the first 2 acts and complaining and getting zapped, and when he finally does something, it lasts all of 10 seconds before he gives in. He really just has an entrance, uses a fire extinguisher, kicks a demon. He doesn't even defeat Beelzebub on his own. Morgana and Gosalyn do that. So this isn't really a great episode for Darkwing, but for Morgana, for Gosalyn, for Beelzebub, and all the secondary characters, it's a great episode. I just wish Darkwing had more to do, but he's really overshadowed by everybody else.
For those who don't know, me and Mike had a conversation about this episode before we even started the podcast, and he was like, you didn't trash the episode, but you weren't crazy about it. You were like, it's okay, it's all right.
Yeah, the two things Will brought up the first time we talked was this episode and how much you loved Quacker Jack. The first 2 things we talked about.
Ever. So I'm really excited to hear you say that. So I got to hear your score, Mike. What's the score?
I'm gonna give it. You know what? The more I go on about it, the more I'm upping my score.
I love it. I love it.
I'm gonna give it a 4.
Okay.
Which again, I said it's not as I don't like it as much as Frequency and Steer, and those got a 4.5 and a 5 respectively. So I'm giving it a 4 though.
All right.
Which makes it a real shame that you can't legally see it. It needs to be seen. I think it's one of the best of this season, but you can't see it. Sure, you can go on Daily Motion and watch it, but you're dealing with a darker screen. The screen is flipped, everything's backwards, or it's been cut down by like 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see the whole thing, like on Disney Plus, and I know I never will.
I'm gonna send you that copy again, man. I think you would really like this copy. It's not Disney Plus quality, but it's the best one you're ever gonna see.
You know what? Your file told me the date it was gonna expire. I thought I had until that date to watch it, and when I tried to watch it, it had expired, and I was like, screw it. I just go on Daily Motion.
I'll send it to you after we finish recording.
I do want to see it again because the copy I watched was complete, but it was a little dark.
Okay. All right. Me, I've always said I've always enjoyed this episode. It's a lot of fun. It's got great cameos. It has that spooky vibe with it, with the macabres in there. In Eldridge Academy, you got spells going on.
Halloween episode, baby.
Oh yeah, Beelzebub he's fantastic as a villain in this episode. We need to score him too, probably.
We didn't score him in Dead Duck because I knew we were going to score him here.
Okay. Yeah, so man, personally, I always felt this was a solid episode, regardless if you put it with syndication or not. I always, just the score alone, I would have gave it a 4. But because remember, I said this since day one, this was my forbidden fruit. When you're told not to touch the stove, when you're told you can't eat the sweets until after dinner, but you sneak in and do it anyway, so it makes it taste better because you're being sneaky about it. You know, that's how I feel about this episode being the forbidden fruit when I was growing up. So I always bump it up another half a point. It's 4.5 for me, Mike. 4.5.
Fantastic.
All
right.
This
is fun. This is fun. I like this one a lot. It does different things.
Oh man, I was excited to hear you say that. I'm really excited, man, because I was always nervous, like, man, how does Mike not like this episode, man?
I wasn't familiar enough with it.
Okay.
I mean, it's funny I say that because all the older episodes, I've said it many times, I've memorized them. I can play them in my head. But the ABC season 2 stuff, there's a handful, maybe I've seen 5 times tops.
Okay.
Which for me isn't a lot. So Hot Spells, maybe I've seen a half dozen times or so. I need to see it more.
Okay. All right. So Mike, let's get into Beelzebub, man.
I like him a lot. I think is a really great depiction of the devil. He isn't tall. He isn't strong. He doesn't come across as powerful. He's just a big red goat. But he has charisma. I love the voice acting. Marty Ingalls is so funny. And I love how casual he is. Just like in Dead Duck, how he treats the underworld like the DMV. You line up, you go through the turnstile, and you fall into the pits of hell. I think that's great. And he treats it like he's working at the DMV.
Yeah.
And he's so casual about his evil. And I don't know how you could have used him more, because you really can't use him a lot because it makes no sense. But I would have liked to have seen more of him.
Okay.
I think they could have done more with him. He's fun. I wouldn't say he's my favorite cartoon devil, because I think Devil Ned Flanders from The Simpsons is better. Always the one you least suspect. But he's great. I'm going to give him a 4 because he was in one of my favorite episodes.
Okay.
Dead Duck is one of my favorites. So he gets points for that one alone.
You because of Dead Duck.
but I love him in this one. His janitor disguise is funny. I love the scene where he says, have you seen where the rest of Yorick went to? Gosalyn's like, no. And he's like, he'll come back sometime. He's a mean little cuss. And he's like, he's funny. I enjoy listening to him. Okay. So I'll give him a 4, which I think is incredibly fair for me.
Yeah, definitely, man. Beelzebub, to me, I think he's hilarious. just like when he's in the janitor costume and he's talking to Gosalyn, you can just hear that manipulation voice in him. Like, he's getting over on her.
But he's so friendly that you actually kind of fall for his good nature.
Yeah.
Even Gosalyn's like, I thought he was the janitor.
And he's just so awesome in this episode. The punchlines, the gags. He's all over the place, man, and he works. He works really, really well. I couldn't even think of no other villain for them on this episode at all.
You couldn't have done the story without him.
Yeah, at all, man. He's just so perfect for this, and the Make It Even band. Oh man, it gives him another boost, man. I'm gonna give him a 4, also, Mike. I'm giving him a 4.
It's funny how they brought him back in this one and did a great job with him. But they brought Splatter Phoenix back and totally screwed her up.
Yeah.
It's funny. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we're in agreement. He gets 4s across the board.
Yep, 4. Well, I give 4.5 for the episode, but for him,
he does. Yeah. This is the last episode with Moleculo. He does not come back in the last Morgana episode.
Oh.
He's fun. I like him, but there's only so many times I can see him fighting with Darkwing.
Yeah, well, this episode they did it right. It was just a few times and it was really quick, so it didn't get burned out. He didn't take over the episode.
Well, considering Launchpad and Negaduck are in the last Morgana episode, and Eek and Squeak and Archie, there was no room for Moleculo.
Yeah,
I'm fine with him. I like him. And of course, no more Michael Bell. I like Spectre McHex. I think he's pretty fun. Yeah. But goodbye Jack Angel, goodbye Michael Bell. I think they're done. But we've had a good run. We've had a good run with them.
Who was Jack Angel on this episode?
Moleculo.
Oh, okay, that's right. Dang. Okay. All right.
So that's Hot Spells.
Yeah, that's Hot Spells, Mike. Man, what episode we got next?
Next episode is, I believe, Broadcast News.
Broadcast News. Oh, we're down to the final 5, right?
Yes, we are. Final 5. This is the start of it. The final 5.
The final 5. So we're down to one hand.
We can count Darkwing episodes on one hand. Yeah. Okay. So the next one is Broadcast News, the one where Gosalyn accidentally becomes a supervillain sidekick.
You're not a fan of it, though, right?
No, I'm not. And I have reasons. Again, it's that ABC season 2 rut.
Okay.
This is really another one that I'm not. I like it more than Misbehaving, but I'm not. It has its moments, I'll say that. But I know you like it just fine.
Yeah, I haven't seen it in a while, but I do recall, like, I'm not gonna never put it in my top 10 or anything like that, but I definitely thought it was a doable episode. I was cool with it,
It has a couple of lines and moments I like, and it has a pretty significant voice actress we can talk about.
Okay.
But it's all right. Not as good as Hot Spells, but it's all right.
All right, so Mike, man, go ahead and tell us where they can listen to us for the first time if they've never heard us before.
You guys picked a good episode to start with. We're on every podcast app: Stitcher, Spotify, Google, iTunes. You can watch us on YouTube. We're on Pocket Cast, Radio Public, iHeartRadio, Pandora, and pretty much every other podcaster. I can't think of any we're not on, so thank goodness we're easy to find. Mm-hmm. Do you have any shout-outs?
I got one shout-out, and then I got 2 shout-outs. All right, the first shout-out, I'm going to give a shout-out to a guy named Lio. He has a YouTube channel. It's based on the Thundercats, and he joined our Zoom chat a couple of weeks ago. Really fun guy, man. He knows his stuff, especially with these toys. He's also done some fan art on our St Canard Files group. They're really, really good artwork. He does commissions for it, but he's also offered to do a giveaway for us on his artwork. So you can get a Darkwing fan art for free. We should be announcing the giveaway pretty soon. Stan's going to take over on that because he wants to promote the Reddit page for the St. Canard Files. My second shout out will be for anyone who's done a fanfic. If it's appropriate, it does not have to fit with the continuity of the cartoon episodes or the comic book. You can do your own little spin. But guys, think Disney here, okay? Disney.
It should be G-rated.
Yeah, it's got to be G-rated. If you're interested, submit them to the St. Canard Files at gmail.com. I'll take a read of some of them, and I will maybe pick one, maybe 2 to review one day on a future podcast. Once we get through the final 5 and me and Mike take a little break or something, I may review it, and give you my opinion on it. My opinion, is not gold. So if I give it a bad score, don't take it to heart at all. But I'm pretty sure most of you guys are going to have some fun and excitement. Remember, just keep it G-rated. I'm willing to review an episode of a fanfic. Doesn't need illustration either. Yeah.
Why not?
All right, Mike. You got anything else, Mike?
No, that's it. I am glad we finally got this one out of the way. It was kind of cool to spend 2 episodes on this. It was great to have Jim and John. It's great to talk about it. And I can't believe we're down to the last 5.
Yeah, we're down to the last 5, guys. And we hope, the interview with John and Jim, you got a little more insights instead of just what's on IMDb and Wikipedia and just rumors. Because I hear a lot of false rumors, and it was good to hear them confirm some stuff. There's just a little more information out there, man, about Hot Spells, this banned episode. And remember, they enjoy that it's banned, so let's keep it banned.
Do you think it deserved to be banned?
Nah.
Me neither.
But I'm cool with it being banned, though. I'm cool with it.
It's something to talk about.
Yeah,
I'll give it that. It didn't deserve it, though.
All right, so that's it for Hot Spells, guys. Next week, broadcast news. And remember, stay dangerous.
Have a good night. Stay magical.